Hey everyone, welcome back again to Rebuild Reality. Now, just so you guys know, there's a bunch of construction going on, but we're gonna just go with it and hopefully be able to ignore it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to get this done. So let's do this and let's just dive right in here. So now, the reason I made this whole channel was as a way to help other people understand what this whole 3D experience is really about. To be able to understand who you are, to be able to understand how this all works. And, that's why I'm always talking about accepting your true identity, accepting yourself as the I am, that is all things that made all of this. Because that's just the word that, people tend to use for it, because that's what was used in scripture to describe who you are, the I am. But the thing is that, well, people like Neville Goddard, he didn't know about the I am to begin with. He didn't accept that he was all things, that he was the creator of everything to start. He did what he did because, he believed in his teacher, Abdullah. And because, he wanted what he wanted. So he was willing to give it a try. And obviously there was a part of him that was like, somehow I just know that this is true, that this should be able to exist, that I should be able to do this. So he went with it. But in the beginning, what is his first manifestation? That was his trip to Barbados, which I think most everyone has heard of by now. Well, he spent over a month imagining it, and not just when he went to sleep at night. He spent his days imagining himself, instead of walking down the streets of Manhattan where he was living at the time, walking down the streets of Barbados, thinking, doing that self-talk, believing that he was really there, and going to sleep as well every night, like pretending he was in his bed at his family home in Barbados. So he put a lot of effort into creating that and making it finally happen. But as he went along, in his life, he obviously gained more confidence and more like, wow, it really is true that what scripture says, asking it is given, is a real thing. It will really happen. So he ended up replacing all of the work he was doing with the constant affirmations, constant imagining, all of this stuff, with just knowing it was gonna happen. Knowing that he could just imagine it once, because that's what he got to the place of, where he could just imagine it once and then just know it was going to happen, and just living in the end just ready to receive that thing. So he made things way easier on himself by knowing it was going to happen. And obviously, it'd be really great, wouldn't it, to get to that place of Neville's knowing and Neville's experience, just knowing it was going to happen. But what if we could? What if through understanding, what if through all of this information, a lifetime of information from Neville and other people, that we could just do that level of knowing? And by knowing what this whole thing is all about. Because at first glance, we just assume that our desires are coming from us, because they come into our mind and we're like, oh, that's mine. I must have thought of that, right? But did you? Because who created this whole 3D experience to begin with? Well, it wasn't your human self, because your human self is just a character in this program. It was the real you. It was the true you that's all things that created this. And why did it do that? It did that because it just knows itself as all things. So it doesn't have experiences of getting from point A to point B, of things unfolding, of having a lifetime, because it just knows the beginning and the end, because it's all one thing, it's all one place, it's nothing separate from each other. So in order to have the experience of having desires and having them fulfilled, it created this whole 3D, this whole place as a place to actually experience your desires being fulfilled in. So where do desires come from? They come from you? Well, They come from the larger part of you who is presenting them to you like, hey, would you like to have this thing? Because I'd like to give it to you. Because to your human self, it wants the best, but the larger part of you, the true part of you, wants you to have the best. That's why it gives you those desires in the first place. Because to it, for you to have the best, the most wonderful experience here is simply the next logical step. Because what would love do? Love would want the most wonderful thing. And your larger self is experiencing all of this along with you. It's experiencing this through you, which is why it created it in the first place. So, your desires that come up are meant to be fulfilled. It's not like this, oh my God, I gotta figure it out myself. Because that's what the character does. That's what your human self does. It kind of goes, well, I've got this desire, now freaking A, how am I gonna make that happen? We've got this kind of overlying thing about, how you kind of, when you grow up, we get this thing where, oh, it's not good to desire things. That's kind of, you're being selfish, that you should just be serving other people and then you would be a good person. Otherwise, well, you're not really being a good person, are you? If you're just fulfilling your desires, well, you need to be here to fulfill everybody else's desires, to make their dreams come true. Well, maybe that would be okay if the way it worked is that if you help other people fulfill their desires and they helped you, they turned around and help you fulfill yours. But obviously it doesn't work that way, because that's not the way it's all set up. The way it's set up is for you to have a desire. And because everything is based on love, love is giving you the option of choosing it or not choosing it. Like, well, you can have it if you want to, but I'm not gonna make you, I'm not gonna force you to do it, because I want you to have what you want. And because we think, well, how am I gonna make that happen? That's probably impossible, or it's gonna be really, really hard. We get in the way and we're like, nope, it can't happen. No, it's not gonna happen, or it's gonna be too hard, or I've got to do all this stuff and I got to figure it out, and we keep derailing it when it's not up to us to figure it out, because it's not even really our desire to begin with. It's just a larger part of you who wants you to have the most wonderful things, who wants you to have the most wonderful experiences, who wants you to have your dream life, that is presenting that desire to you. So think of it like this. The real you wraps up a present for you and presents it to you. And it's like, hey, I want to give you this gift. Would you like to have it? And all you got to do is say, yes, I would. And maybe, I don't know, jump up and down a little, clap your hands, get excited that it's coming. Because all it's doing is just asking you, just yes or no. Just tell me yes or no, and then I'll do the rest. I'll do all the rest. So that's what's going on here. You, as your human self, aren't having desires and then having to struggle to create your dream life. Your dream life was meant to happen. Your true self is living this experience along with you, through you. It created this place to have those wonderful things happen, to have all kinds of experiences. So it's taking care of it all. It's already like, yeah, I'll take care of it. You just tell me yes or no. So just accepting it instead of going, oh my God, I don't know how that's going to happen. That's what this whole place is for. It's for you to have the very best of the best, because all that you are, all that is, loves you, cares for you, wants to be there for you if you'll let it be, if you'll just let it be. So when you have a desire, that is the true you saying, I want you to have this. I want to give this to you. well, what would you do then? You'd be like, yeah, you'd be, woohoo, yes, this is what it's going to give me. I just got this amazing present. It just wants you to accept it. And that's just like, I mean, how wonderful is this? That's what this whole place is for you to have the best possible outcome, the best possible life, to know that that's what this is meant for, that the real you just wants to live that experience along with you. So just accepting it, that was meant to happen if you'll let it happen. And what's more beautiful than that? Wow. And when you get to this place where you realize that that's what's actually going on here, your gratitude, I'm telling you, becomes immense, becomes overwhelming. You know, the feelings of being loved, of being cared for, of being nurtured, of always being looked after. Well, they can be kind of overwhelming sometimes. But how beautiful is that? So I hope that this helps you guys, and just kind of understanding where your desires come from, and that they are gifts for you to have from the heart of you, from that which is the true you, which is love, which is also you. So I hope that helps. And yeah, thank you guys for being with me here once again on Rebuild Reality. I know my backdrop isn't the best right now. Hopefully I'll find a way to improve it, but this is like the one place where I've got some decent lighting and stuff, and yeah, just the way it is, who cares, right? So yeah, there you go. Anyway, as always, it's wonderful to be with you guys here again, to have you guys here on Rebuild Reality. And of course, as always, I look forward to seeing you guys here next time on Rebuild Reality.